Dr. Mahrang Baloch. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dear Dr. Mahrang, could you please introduce yourself and could you please give us some more information about the movement that you are in now? Very shortly, please.
My name is Dr. Mahrang Baloch, and myself is a victim of state atrocities. Uh, I am leading a movement against Baloch genocide. I am the organizer of Baloch Yakjehti Committee, a movement which has been organized by the Baloch youth. And our aim and what we are doing today is the long march that we have led. It's 41 day of our long march, and this long march is being held after the extrajudicial killings of four Baloch youth who have been killed in Cage Turbat. First of all, they were abducted by the CTD Counter-Terrorism Department of Police, and then they were presented in the court and. Uh, in the custody, they were killed, and the CTDF claimed that they have killed them in an ambush. So it's been usual for us in Balochistan. Uh, what is unusual for the world, it's been usual for us in Balochistan that thousands of Baloch missing persons have been killed by the state forces, and their families who have been waiting for their loved ones are being gifted their dead bodies, their mutilated bodies. So it's not first time. What is more drastic that the people have been silenced from decades, and there is a fear among them people, and the judiciary and the courts, all of them have been silent. So Balaj case was the first case. It's not the first case. Earlier, Balaj, there were also protests and sit-in organized by the Baloch Yakjehti Committee, uh, in which the Baloch people have refused to bury their dead bodies and have organized sit-ins in multiple areas for the justice. But the judiciary and this state failed to provide justice to Baloch youth. So after that, when Balach was killed extrajudicially, its family have refused to bury Balaj and have organized a sit-in in Cage Turbat. After 15 days of that sit-in, uh, we have called for a long march because the aim of a long march is to
Yes,
mobilize our own youth.
in that case, I would like to ask you exactly what is the Balochistan people demands, very shortly.
Balochistan people demands their own identity, their land, and the end of the genocide that has been occurring from the last 7 decades. None of our generations have left in peace, and there are multiple cases. And even though this is the fifth insurgency of Balochistan, and what we demand our own land, our own peace, and the end of the genocide, the end of the killings, the end of the exploitations of our resources, and the end of cultural invasion that have been occurring from decades in our land. The Baloch people have lost the right to live. The Baloch people have lost the right for every, like, there is no economic stability in Balochistan. No one is safe and secure living. And Balochistan has been treated as a colony. Like in every 5 kilometers, there is a check post, and the army officials there are harassing people, are threatening people, are involved in killings of innocent Balochs, and also the women and children are not spared. There are multiple cases where the drastic change is that from the last 2 decades, the state has sponsored the local goons, have given them arms and ammunition. They call them death squads. They are free to kill. They are easily they have the power of state. They have guns, and they have been involved in the killings of innocent Baloch people. And also in 2014, in Tutak region of Ghuzdar, the state, even though the state officials have discovered more than three mass graves where three above than 300 Baloch, enforcedly disappeared Baloch persons were killed, and their mutilated bodies were there. even though when the families came and protested and urged the UN that the dead bodies that have been found in those mass graves, that must be a DNA test must be done for them, so that the victim families who have been waiting for their loved ones would know that the buried bodies of would be their beloved ones. But sadly, the state have not given a right to Baloch to mourn on their beloved ones' killings. So this is not an one case. It's what Balochistan is suffering, what in Balochistan is occurring is a genocide that has been hidden from the world. What they say that is an internal issue, but it's not an internal issue. As a nation has been facing a systematic genocide from a state that doesn't value Baloch human lives, that just value the resources, and they are there just to loot our resources, and in return they are killing our peoples, and they are not stopping those killings, even though there have been many peaceful movements there, but
Exactly. In
none of
that
them.
case,
Yeah.
I would like to also ask you. You mentioned about the violation towards to the Balochistan people, but also the Europe is responsible of these attacks as well to Baloch people. So Europe and European institutions like European Union always talks about human rights and democracy, but when it comes to the Balochistan, they are keeping silence. So, what is your call to the European Union to take action against Pakistani violence on Baloch people?
Actually, the main focus of our movement was this. The first demand of our movement was a UN fact-finding committee against the human right violations. They must come in Balochistan. They must take the notice of human rights violation. What we are seeing that a state is involved in the systemic genocide, but also has been supported by all the world. Human rights are just slogans. Our peoples are butchered, our peoples are mutilated, but none of them speak for us. If there is a civilized world, if there is the Charter of Human Rights, then they must know. And there are multiple cases of enforcedly disappeared persons that have been registered in UN. And also last year, we have attended a conference where the working South Asian head of working group enforced disappeared persons were also present on that conference. And she was saying that from the last 10 years, UN is asking for NOC to come in Balochistan and take notice of enforcedly disappeared persons and also the extrajudicial killings, which Pakistan is not allowing them. So it is a drastic change. Why you are not acting against this? There are thousands of missing persons families. There are thousands of cases where people have been killed. And your own organization, if Pakistan is a signatory nation of UN and Pakistan has signed to the UN Human Rights Charter, so then why it has not been able, the world has not been able to stop Pakistan and to stop Pakistan against Baloch genocide, against enforced disappearances. Still in Pakistan, these practices, enforced disappearances, is practiced freely, and even the Prime Minister of Pakistan is justifying enforced disappearances. It isn't it enough for the European Union to act? Isn't it enough? Isn't it enough evidence for the European Union to act immediately and send their fact-finding committee in Balochistan and also take immediate actions and to even though to compel Pakistan to end the enforced disappearances and the extrajudicial killings, and also consider the human rights and the national rights of Baloch nation.
Thank you, Doctor. Also, as you know, the Kurdish woman movement is one of the biggest supporter of the Baloch community. So, Kurdish woman movement has officially announced yesterday the support to the Baloch woman with a statement. joint statement, and they said, "We are embrace the struggle of Baloch women." They said. So, do you have any call to Kurdish woman movement as well?
As a Baloch women activist, uh, as a nation, we have been idolized what Kurdish women movement, and also we link ourselves to the Kurdish national movement. So it's been an I am thankful to them. The solidarity what we were seeing is beyond the national solidarity, and uh, I want them uh, to be part of this. And this march is led by women, and the what we see in the future, strong solidarity and a voice for the Baloch people, a voice against the Baloch genocide. And from behalf of my nation, I thank you. I thank the Kurdish women movement to considering this issue and to supporting the Baloch cause.
Thank you, dear doctor. Also, I would like to ask one more question about Jinjian Azadi, Woman Life Freedom Movement. As you know, the Kurdish woman movement has made the Jinjian Azadi, Woman Life Freedom, in a global rise. Do you agree with the Woman Life Freedom slogan, and which also raised up the woman in Iran and in the Middle East as well? So you rising up now in your country. So would you support the woman globally with the woman life freedom perspective?
Yes, we support the Women Life Freedom global movement. Also, last year on 8th March, like the Women's Day, International Women's Day, we have organized a huge demonstration, and we have the own placards, the Jinjian Azadi, and we as Baloch women support the global women rise, that Jinjian Azadi, as uh, all women are also considered as equal part of the society, and they have the right, they have the fully right of life and freedom. And we in Balochistan have considered that Baloch women as being has been faced the state oppression more than men, because their cause and their suppression, what they're suffering is never being discussed. And what we are seeing is the collective punishment what we are facing is also a big part of the rising, the women rising. And what we do, we consider these women, we acknowledge them, and Baloch women as a special role in this movement. We support the all over global rise of this movement.
Thank you, Doctor. Lastly, I would like to ask you that as well. How can the European community can support you, especially the Kurdish people? What they can do for you right now, because the Balochistan is very important and it needs to be supported by international community. So, how can the European people and Kurdish people can give you a support? What they need to do for you right now?
Uh, right now, we need support from whole of the world. What we are seeking, that you can inform your human rights organization, and you can also write to the Pakistan, and you can also compile Pakistan to sign the end enforced disappearance bill that that the state hasn't signed till yet, to end the genocide, to end the exploitation of Baloch resources, and also to consider Baloch as a nation that has been facing genocide from decades. It's not an internal issue of Pakistan. It has never been, because what Pakistan is doing in Balochistan is not an internal issue, not a human rights violation. It's pure genocide. So they can file a petition. The European Union can compel Pakistan to end their war crimes in Balochistan, to end the colonial behavior which my people, my Baloch people have been suffering from decades. They have no right to freedom of speech, and also they have no right to live. we are suffocating, and all of the world is still chanting the slogans of human rights. It's biased, and it's also not human. You must act according what you are saying. You must act practically, and you can. It's a call for help from all of the world, and especially to the European Union. And also, well, when you aiding Pakistan, like when from the last year, uh, your aid has been used against our genocide. The aid which you are giving to Pakistan is used to kill our people. You must hold Pakistan accountable for what what the state has been doing in Balochistan.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything I didn't ask? Anything you would like to say on via the your Kurdish TV? What would you like to say to the world? Very shortly, please.
Uh, as we all know that the media has been controlled by the global powers, and what's happening in the world, I can see that the world has been divided so that no the oppressed nation uh, uh, couldn't come together, and the solidarity which we are expecting, at which we need, is been broken. So our message to all of the world, to all the oppressed nation, is that we must come together, and we must keep raising our voices for all of the oppressed nation, all of the oppressed people who have been facing this all and alone. We must give our voices to them, and what we are asking to the world is to support our movement and to raise against the Baloch genocide. Thank you.
Dr. Mahrang Baloch from Balochistan, thanks for joining us and thank you for your valuable comments.